For tonight's notes, we're going to talk about multiplying decimals. We've done adding and subtracting decimals, and as I told you in that video, you're going to line up all your decimals when you're adding and subtracting. But adding and subtracting rules are often different from multiplying and dividing rules. So in the case of decimals, we line them up to add and subtract. In the case of multiplying decimals, we don't have to line them up in order to multiply. In fact, we want to line them up on their right-hand side. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply your numbers normally. Ignore the decimals, pretend they're not there. In this first example, 5.6 and 3.2, we would pretend that we're multiplying 56 and 32. Okay? So we're not going to worry about the decimals. We're going to line everything up on the right-hand side. These two happen to have the same number of decimal places, so it doesn't make any difference. We're going to multiply as if the decimals are not there, and then we'll go ahead and put the decimals back in at the end. So, if we're going to multiply 5 and 6/10 and 3 and 2/10, then we'll go ahead and do it just the regular old multiplication way. You have 5 and 6/10, 3 and 2/10. You're going to multiply like it's 56 times 32. 56 times 32. You would multiply out. And then remember that when you're multiplying, whatever number on the bottom that you're using to multiply with, that's where your number starts. So you're going to skip over a number in your second row of multiplication. And you're going to start writing underneath the 3. So you'd do 3 times 6 here and carry. So you need to show your work when you're doing your homework tonight. Then you're going to add up. Now, 56 times 32 is 1,792. But we weren't actually multiplying 56 times 32. We were multiplying 5 and 6/10 times 3 and 2/10. And in this problem, I have two numbers on the right side of the decimal. One here and one here. So that's a total of two numbers on the right side of the decimal. So I have to make sure that there's two numbers on the right side of the decimal in my answer. So I'm going to put my decimal right here. Okay, there's two numbers up here, and there are two numbers down here. That's the little symbol for number right there, if you didn't know that. Okay, let's look at the next example. In the next example, we have two numbers that have different numbers of decimal places. We have 11 and 1/10, and then we have 2 and 23/100. So when we are multiplying these, we're going to line them up on the right-hand side, just like they're shown here. The 1 and the 3 will be above each other. So I'm going to pretend like my decimals aren't even there when I'm multiplying. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and multiply everything out. And then I'm going to put my decimals back in at the end. If you're writing them out without decimals to multiply, please make sure you go back and put that decimal in at the end. So to multiply this, sorry about that. To multiply this, I'm going to start with the 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3, get my pen back, and 3. Now when I start multiplying with the 2 here in the middle, my numbers are going to go starting underneath that 2. So I'll have 2, 2, and 2 here. I can put a 0 in this spot to hold it. And then when I multiply with the next 2, it's going to start down here. 2, 2, and 2. I'm going to have 2 zeros to hold my place there. Okay. I know some of you didn't multiply all the way out that far in elementary school, and so just to remind you, your numbers have to start being written underneath the one you're using to multiply with. All right, so then you'd come in you'd have 24,753. But if we go back to our problem over here, I have 1, 2, 3 numbers on the right side of the decimal spots in the whole problem. So my final answer also has to have 3 numbers on the right side of the decimal point. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do one with you here, number 1, and you can finish the rest on your own tonight. So in number 1 here, trying it on your own, you can see that everything is lined up on the right-hand side. You're going to go ahead and multiply 9 times 4, 9 times 2, and I want to see your work carrying your places while you're multiplying. All right, we're going to start underneath the 7 this time, so we'll put a 0 underneath that 9. Okay? And we'll start carrying again. All right? And then add them up. And go back and count how many numbers were to the right of the decimal in your problem. So we've got 1 here and 1 there. That's 2 numbers to the right of the decimal in the problem. So I'm going to put 2 numbers to the right of the decimal in the answer. 97 and 96 hundredths. Okay, I want you to go ahead and finish the try these on your own problems for the rest of your homework tonight and have them ready when you come to class tomorrow. Oh, by the way, your secret question. Secret question, let's go ahead and put it next to the example number 2 over here. And you can let's put a big plus sign there. And for your secret question today, tell me what your favorite TV show is. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.